So I'm Stefanie Selke. As you can see, I have my own consulting company, SLOG. It's a company for organizational development. So I'm a coach, and I also did a research about Holacracy, and there I met Laura at Blinkist. So I'm very happy to be here. And yeah, I kind of fall back in an older role I had. I was also a TV producer. Seems to me like in a former life, but and I switched back a little bit into this role of an interviewer and journalist, or a little bit also an advisor, to interview Laura about Blinkist.
Hello? Oh, yeah, you can hear me. I wasn't sure. Hi, I'm Laura. I work at Blinkist as publishing manager. Blinkist is a company that focuses on creating summaries of nonfiction books that you can read in an app in about 15 minutes. And I joined the team 2 years ago as a freelance writer, and now I'm coordinating the writing process, but also taking care of the book selection and book curation. And we introduced a light form of Holacracy, of the system we will show you and explain you now, a year ago as guinea pigs in a way. And then we rolled it out into the whole company. And yeah, I'm happy to be here and share my experiences from the battlefield, so to speak.
Yes, and we really jump in the topic because I was curious about Holacracy. Usually I work with corporates, and they often ask me about new organizational structure, which makes them more flexible, more agile, and so on. So, what do you think? What are, in your experience, the main benefits of Holacracy? Before we explain it, deeper. So, in your experience, the main benefits.
So first of all, for all of you who don't have heard of Holacracy ever, it's a new organizational method to organize your company with flat hierarchies, but a very big set of rules and structures to make the company succeed. And the system is focused on self-organization and self-management. And the answer to the question, what are the benefits of this, are quite obvious. So first of all, it's about motivation and about people being able to decide for themselves. But Holacracy, or Blinkracy, as I will refer to it from now on, because we have a light version, which we call Blinkracy at Blinkist. The benefits are that it makes us agile, flexible, and very efficient. So this set of rules that Holacracy gives us makes us, or enables us to make smart and quick decisions. So in the beginning we had a very classical hierarchy, and this kind of made us slow, and we had little communications between the departments, and then we decided to switch to the Holacracy system, and now we work in self-organized small groups where we can try out a lot of things and make our own decisions in our small departments. And this can bring a lot of innovation and also motivation, of course. One of the rules in Blinkracy is that you differentiate between things that have to be done, like project and things that have to go on so the company can succeed, and obstacles that you face. So the system really affects our meeting culture. Instead of long, exhausting meetings that they are like very common in the corporate world, probably, we have very efficient and structured get-togethers every week where we discuss only what needs to be done, by whom and how. And in Holacracy systems, these are called tactical meetings, and they are about 30 to 45 minutes. Here we talk only about ongoing projects and solutions, how we can solve problems, how we can tackle things, and the small steps and next actions we can take to get things done. conflicts, obstacles, or issues, personal things, people not being happy about what they do, these are all tackled in other meetings, in governance meetings. These take place once a month at Blinkist, and in this way, the daily work stays untouched by long discussions or problems that everyone has with their work or with their responsibilities.
Okay, sounds a little bit complicated with many
complex.
rules. With many rules to make this structure very flexible, agile, and it's more about enabling people. So it reminds me a little bit, as I interviewed Laura and also the founders and some other people in the company, it reminds me a little bit on the book Getting Things Done. I think it's a must to have read that book when you work at Blinkist or even at another company who works with Holacracy, because it's this getting things done. It's a kind of a mindset you have to have if you want to really work with Holacracy. Yeah. So it brings me to another topic. You talk about the tactical meetings and the governance meetings. So it's all about, the tactical meetings are all about how do you do the things, how do you get the things run, and how do you organize your work. But what about leadership? That was my question. Yeah, is there a leader who guides you, who tells you what to do? So how do you handle the topic leadership?
We've already prepared something. So leadership is there, but it's always within the team. So the answer is we ourselves tell us what to do. So we don't need somebody to tell us what to do. We don't have job titles, we don't have managers or bosses. We have circles and we have roles. I will explain that later. So in Holacracy, the hierarchy, the classical hierarchy, somebody telling you your assignments and then you have to do this in order to get your job done and to bring the company further. This all is replaced by not anarchy, not everybody's doing what he wants to do, but by structures. In Holacracy, we have strict guidelines and rules to be followed. So we have prepared this small chart here. So if you think about organizations and the topics they focus on, we have the hierarchy, and in traditional organizational styles, in command and control organizations, there is a high level of hierarchy, but a relatively loose structures. So because the high level person would just say, we do that and we do that, and we don't need structures. You always have to follow just what I assign you. So this is why we put command and control companies here.
You all know the king of your company. you all know the leader, and you know who's your department leader and so on. And then you have to do, not what he's telling, but
but basically he gives the orders to his subordinates, and he gives the orders to his subordinates, and so on. And you don't really need structures to keep the company going because you just assign stuff to people. And what is a common mistake is that Holacracy is assumed to be here, so with flat hierarchies and nobody telling anything about anyone doing, but also no structures. But this is not true. Actually, Holacracy is somewhere here, so we have no hierarchies, but we have very high formal structure, as you might have already noticed in the some set of rules I already explained.
So it kind of convinced me that that when there is no hierarchy, when there is nobody who tells you what to do, then you need rules to sit together, to discuss, and to set up the daily program or the daily work, or also the work for the next week, the next project, and so on. But who is in charge of the strategy? who leads the whole company. So there must be a leader, isn't it? Sorry.
Maybe before I explain that, I can just give a quick summary of the structures we discussed here, of the formal structures, because you might ask, like, okay, if there's no managers and no job titles and no job descriptions, how do you work? So we divide the things that have to be done and the responsibilities we call roles. So we develop a role by laying out all the actions that need to be taken care of when you want the company to succeed. And these are called accountabilities. So we collect all the accountabilities and we cluster them and build roles of them. And then one person that has the skills and the resources to do so can take over or fill one role and take on these accountabilities. And after this, we put all the roles that have the same purpose in the company together and build circles. So one circle comprises of roles. You could also say a team that has the same purpose in the company. Let's say in my company, it's the content circle. We make sure that we have books to be summarized, that we have readers, that we have writers, that we have editors, and that everything goes into our app on time, so our users can read something every week, basically. So this circle has certain roles, and I have 3 of them. For example, I'm coordinating the German content writers team. So, and yeah, this is basically the structure system, how it's done instead of the job descriptions. But now to the strategy.
If you want to apply this kind of strategy or this kind of holacracy model, then I think it's necessary to really be detailed in the actions and be able to make roles out of that. So this is, I think, it's a kind of process which you, I don't know, you have to learn, or is it that everybody could do that in a minute?
No, of course, you have to be very, very precise on choosing what actions and what accountabilities you have. You have to sit for hours and hours to figure that out. And then, of course, to find the people who have the abilities to fill these roles, and then assign them or decide together who could take over this role, who can do these accountabilities, and then, of course, you tweak and tweak until it fits.
And what convinced me is that the people in the company knows themselves very well. They know what they can do and what they're able to do. And in corporate companies, I often see leaders and department leaders who are not really know what exactly his or her 20, 30 or more people could really do. I think it's a good concept to really enable the talents and also the hidden talents in the company.
That maybe brings us back to the strategy, leadership, vision part that you asked about.
That was that was my next step, thinking about the strategy. Who is in charge of the strategy?
Yeah, of course, every company needs a big vision, the big picture, like where are we going, what are we trying to do? And so Holacracy has an answer for this too, and we also implemented a form of this Holacracy-based answer to this in our company. So every Holacracy has a lead circle. This means one member of each circle ideally goes into this lead circle, and so everyone's voice is heard, and then they discuss the overall strategy of the company. Of course, in very large companies this might not be possible. At Blinkist it is, because we are relatively small. And and we have strategy meetings every 3 months where the lead circle adjusts the purpose and all over goals for the company. As I said before, every circle has one purpose, and this lead circle, or you can also have a general company circle, defines the overall purpose or the direction the company wants to go, and discusses this every 3 months, or I think we do it every quarter, but you might also do it more often or whatever. This is probably, yeah, a point of view thing. And then the lead links, this is the people that are sent from the subcircles, are sent back, and with the vision and the strategy they got from the circle and what they discussed, they bring this information back. They communicate it to their circles, and then they can make a roadmap, discuss goals and strategies how to fulfill this purpose. So if, say, the focus topic for this quarter is growth, then every circle lead goes into the circle and talks about the staff, about how can we, as a circle, achieve more growth? What can we do? What are our goals for the next quarter to contribute to the greater vision of the of the company? So, and the lead link, this one person that is participating in the lead circle, also communicates if new roles are to be created, or if we have to hire new staff, or if maybe the budget is shifting, or if we, when there are changes in the overall program of the company.
So the really big topics are discussed in that lead circle. It's necessary to know that in that lead circle, not only have there are not only the founders, at least.
No, there are people from every circle. So if, say, we have the content team, there is one content member in this circle, and he is not one of the founders. And we can also change these roles. So we can say, next year there's somebody else joining the lead circle, and then we can change like who is the voice of every circle. So it's quite democratic.
Democratic and always changing. Yeah, and in my interviews with the founder of Blinkist, Sebastian Klein, we together also found out at the end that they lost a little bit doing this lead circle, the strategy meetings, because after 2 or 3 years, the business runs, and then think, oh, okay, there's so much to do, and every week we go further, and then they've not forgot, but they put it a little bit into the back that they have to have these strategy meetings, and this is my advice, or in a way we both talked about that, to Sebastian and me, that he says, you are right, we have to do it more often, we have to do it regularly, and I don't know, at the moment I think if they really only meet every 3 months or monthly, I don't know, that has to decide by the lead circle themselves. Yeah. But it's absolutely necessary to have this flowing communication in a way, because the strategy could change rapidly, and then you have to sit together monthly, for example, and then you have to have this link into the other circles in the company. Yeah,
and this makes clear that to implement the system, you really have to be very disciplined and stick to the rules and to the structure. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Yeah, when you see all these circles and this structure, at the beginning it reminds me a little bit on project management, because when I work for corporates with that hierarchy, which you saw here, this normal or traditional structure, then the corporates try to soften their structure a little bit with many projects. They set up projects. Especially for I work for example, in a industry. Very hands-on. They built big machines, and they thought, we could be more flexible, we could be more fast if we set up projects. but because then they have the same structure in a way. They have people also in a line, and they have people in the project, and they collaborate together with other departments, and the communication is flowing. Yeah, that's what they wish. But tell me, is there a difference between this kind of soften their hierarchy with the project to the circle method or model of holacracy? So what is the difference?
Yeah, so what I've understood is that these projects that you are talking about are always additional to the job description you already have, in a way, and that these projects are always set up by somebody and then also assigned to you. So the main difference, I would say, is that the roles I have are not additional to the job I do, but these are my responsibilities. I own them and I want them to succeed. And also in my circle, I create my own projects. This is maybe the biggest difference. Not me, but my whole team, my whole circle. And these projects are 100% transparent. So we keep something like an open to-do list where we create the projects and everybody sees them. And then we say, okay, who's taking care of this? Which role is taking care of this? And then we know, okay, these projects have to be done. Also, another thing in Holacracy, it's possible that you set up projects that are very creative or innovative if they fit to your skills or ideas. Let's say you have the B2B sales role, but you want to take care of improving the office feng shui or the environment or get plants or a bookshelf or whatever, then you can say, hey, I make this project, I want to improve our working environment, and then you can also have this project. So basically you also manage these projects, so this might be the difference. And also, Holacracy enables individuals to hold multiple roles in different circles. So it's not that you have this one job and then you go out to join the project, but you can use all of your skills. Maybe I can give an example, which is our favorite example because, it was a big accomplishment. A year ago, we wanted to introduce our most requested feature that was audio versions of our content. And we thought we simply couldn't do it because we didn't have the department audio. And so we thought, okay, maybe it's just a dream. But then we introduced Holacracy, and we figured out that, okay, if we have people according to their skills that can take over roles, we can basically do it with our own people. So we sat together and looked who can do what, and we set up a circle for audio. And the funny thing that happened is that our copywriter stepped into the audio recruiting role and recruited the narrators that would produce the audio content. And one of our editors was managing these narrators and set up this whole team. And some of our freelance writers happened to be a sound technician, and he took over the role of producer. So he is now mastering the audio files, and within just 2 months we could set up this circle, and we had the audio feature and 80 audio files in our app, which would not be possible if we had to create a department and hire staff and all these things.
Set up a new department in a corporate, that's nearly not that fast as you did that. And as I said before, you can really use the own abilities from the staff. You are more that thinking about enabling the people. They could jump in. You ask a question, for example, audio, and then somebody from another project or from another circle jumped in and just say, I can do this, I can do that. Usually I write for you, but now I'm also a sound designer, and then now I produce your audios. That's great to have that, and I think that's why the corporates are here, to learn from you, because this is a little bit, they try to transfer this a little bit into their companies.
Yeah.
So that everything that so far convinced me so much, that's why we are here, of course. And I asked the question, so how do you deal with conflicts? Are there any kind of conflicts in that? Or is there a rule for everything and then you don't have conflicts? I don't know. How do you deal with that topic?
Yes, we do have some conflicts, but I think we have less than other companies. I don't know if it's just our corporate culture or if it's really holacracy, but I think that some of the conflicts we don't have are due to holacracy. Because if you think of it, many conflicts are personal in other companies. So jealousy, competition, pressure, or the feeling of unfairness creates a lot of conflicts. But since we decide on our roles, on our working assignments together and fairly, we feel even and motivated. So we have these cross-functional circles. Everyone feels that they're in the same boat, that they are rowing in the same direction, and that we don't have to, we don't have this pressure like I have to do this although I don't want to. So it's basically more fun if you work like this. And another good thing about the structures of holacracy is that the roles and accountabilities are defined so clearly that we cannot blame other people. Like, it wouldn't happen that somebody says, oh, I thought you would get this. No, I thought you would get this. It's clear that this is my responsibility, and if I don't do it, then I don't do it. But of course, this can also create conflicts. We are people, we are humans, and sometimes things go wrong. Like it's launch day and the app is buggy, or some very important translations are missing, and then of course we are stressed. But in this case, the system of roles that I introduced before makes these tensions, as they are called in holacracy, far less personal. Like it's different when you say, you messed up this job or you didn't do it well, or if you say the B2B role hasn't been fulfilled. It's very like on a linguistic basis, it's different, and also it's more constructive because this tension will immediately be addressed in one of the tactical meetings, and there the project structure that I discussed forces you to take an action. So you can curse, oh, this went wrong and this was terrible, but the tactical structure forces you to take an action and find a solution for this. So we always try to say, okay, what has to be done? Okay, yeah, the translation has to be done. Who will doing it? Da da da. So this is basically how the system avoids bigger conflicts.
It seems that that you can hide a little bit behind that role, and it's not so that you come into that anger and that jealousy, competition, and so on, which all usually makes that conflict. It's more that the role enables to have a good, lovely communication with your colleague, and
it's the last question. Yeah, we're at the last question.
There should also be some time for Q&A,
yes.
Of course. Yeah,
of course. One last question.
Okay. So, or do you have questions which have to come out now? So then let's then.
Maybe you can use the microphone.
I have one last topic in what I have in my mind. That was the topic of recruiting, because every startup has the problem of recruiting new staff, and that's what I also asked Sebastian and Laura. What about recruiting?
I make this quick. So first of all, there's our own pool, of course. We are working with 50 freelancers now, and when I joined in 2012, I was also a freelancer. So this is one way, like when there are people who work for you, and then after a while they understand the product and they understand how the company drives and how where it wants to go, then you can think of, okay, is this person maybe suited for a company? But also, the Berlin startup scene is very well connected, so it's not really hard to find new, young, inspired people. So many of other startups joined us over the last years. And as a startup, you're also kind of attractive, so people find you. And Holacracy has even been one argument for one of our members to join us. So yeah, if you're attractive and if you're doing things differently, then people come to you. But of course, yeah, we have special requirements. So if we recruit people, then you don't have to be only professionally qualified, but you have to bring a special mindset. You have to have these character traits like being disciplined, solution-oriented. You have to be able to organize yourself and to be flexible and curious. So whenever we recruit people, we take these factors into account. They have to work with our system as well. So someone who is not able to make their own decisions could probably not succeed at Blinkist. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a kind of Blinkist recruits the people from the community, as I think many startups or most of the startups do. And the last chat I had with Sebastian was just 2 weeks ago, before he went to holiday, because that's why he's not here today. So our last chat was about how to recruit more people, and I advised that he should be careful just recruiting out of the community and recruiting staff always with the same values, with the same mindset and so on, even if they are very creative and very international and so on. Because if you larger the company, then maybe there is a lack of innovation at the end, because all the people at least are similar. And then if you are too similar, then everybody's so cool and everybody is so international but has the same mindset. Then at least maybe if you grow to 50 or 100 people, then at least maybe could be a lack of innovation. So
a lot to learn here and a lot to implement. Very impressive what you've done with Blinkist. I believe it's a very tough job, because you have to be very disciplined, as you said, and very consequent in just implementing it. Very impressive. So we're actually obviously running late, so maybe we have one or maximum 2 questions from the audience that we can take. So is there any questions? So there's one in the front.
What I understood now is that actually Holacracy means getting rid of job roles and also job descriptions. And I just checked your website, and of course when you hire, you also have job descriptions there, because of course the whole world works like that, right? I'm looking for my job description. So how can you also transform that, or do you plan to do that, or how do you deal with that difference, kind of?
So we always try to formulate these job roles, as you said, in the form of roles already. So we try to not say we are hiring a senior manager or a junior manager or whatever, but only like describe what they will be doing. So we also had a job description that said, I think, customer happiness manager or so. So we make up job titles that everyone can understand, but still try to not imply that there are hierarchies in our company. But of course, we have a CEO for the outside world and with everything, but these people also have their normal roles inside the company. But it's a balance that you have to keep.
Okay. I'm really sorry, one more question.
Yeah, what came to my mind when I listened to this is, first of all, I'm glad that also a startup, a growing startup, is addressing the topic to avoid basically anarchy, which results in inefficiency basically as you grow, because first of all, everybody does everything and tries to move on with the product, and then tasks tend to be more clear, But nonetheless, the structure of the circles and roles, etc., it can be basically quite easily translated into classic hierarchical elements, a circle, a department, and so on. So for me, it's more about a mindset and how basically you live that. There are also hierarchical organizations which have an organogram and different structures which are managed well, and where a department leader, for example, has a very democratic decision process where he really tries to get the best out of his people, etc. And there are also classic companies, for example, just as another remark, like for, I think 3M, no ranks, no titles, so large corporations where this has been applied as well.
I'm totally with you, and that's what I see in corporates, that they try to soften their hierarchy and so on. And but what I see really at Blinkist and in other startups who drive this holacracy is that there are really personalities who works without having that big ego. I would call it like that, yeah? Because there are so many egos and people with the, "Wow, I have to lead, I have to have a team with 20 person and so on." They're not say it like that, but you feel it in their mindset, in their thinking, in their beliefs. And this is the problem often, that you have to change the culture and the mindset a little bit if you want to try this holacracy. Yeah, so, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, you two.